Today we are happy to have brewery from Cooperstown, New York. If you've been there, where the Hall of Fame is, Baseball Hall of Fame is. They have a beautiful brewery with stunning, yeah, it is stunning. Just really beautiful. They have concerts up there. They have camp out. I think they're having cake this summer. Really great place and amazing beers. Belgian-inspired beers, and what do I want to say? They have some classic styles. Tonight we have a little bit some things that are a little not so classic. We have a sour. We have barrel-aged beer. We have some different things from Ommegang that you probably have seen before or tried before. And I'm really looking forward to trying. I have not even. I'm drinking the Farm Fresh now. It's really good. So I'm looking forward to trying these beers myself. And to lead us through all of this, we have Tyler. Just try to keep this talking to a minimum so everybody can hear and enjoy and learn and all that good stuff. All right, thank you very much.
Can everyone hear me? I'm not very good with microphones.
No, I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
A little.
How about now? No,
not really.
I'm very bad with microphones. They always tend to everything gets caught in my ear. I don't know what's going on. But my name's Tyler. I'm with Ommegang. Kind of just giving you a little.
Much better.
Much better. There we go. My name's Tyler. I'm with Ommegang. Just going to give a little rundown of some history behind Ommegang. And then a little bit after that, we're going to try some beers, give you a little bit more information on said beers, field some questions, have some fun. Some of you guys have already been notified that anyone that drinks a full pour gets a little raffle ticket. We're raffling out some fun stuff at the end of the night. So keep that in mind while you're doing your samples so you don't overserve yourselves. But to get to the Ommegang side, before the brewery even began, we got to go way back to 1549. The Holy Roman Emperor Charles V decided to visit Brussels. During that time, the area of Brussels decided to have a festival to welcome them and their cohorts. So local brewers, vendors, cooks, artists, dancers, whatever, decided to put on a full-blown festival to welcome Charles. And that's where the name Ommegang comes from. It comes with gather, come to gather. So that's where Ommegang comes from. The Ommegang Festival still goes on in Brussels to this day. So, 1549 to now, Ommegang has been around in terms of spirit. Fast forward to 1997. That is where we come and do this. That is where Doug Feinstein and Wendy Littlefield decided to partner with Dougal Ward God out in Belgium to brew their first ever in America Belgian-style beers in 100 years. So Ommegang Brewery Ommegang is actually the first locally sourced Belgian-inspired brewery in over 110 years at the time in 1997.
Wow.
Yeah, so it started with Abbey Ale. If you're not familiar, that is our flagship beer. Very phenomenal, kind of old school Belgian-style Trappist. Then became Hennepin, which is another beer that's available today as our farmhouse ale. On top of that would be Rare Boss, which is our Belgian-inspired amber ale. And then Three Philosophers, which we're most known for, which is our Belgian quad.
Like that.
So with the blend between the Belgian quad and the Creek. And then later on down the years, we started introducing our, kind of more approachable styles. There are Witta, which is our Belgian wheat beer. We started doing draft stuff. And then throughout the years, we just started growing and growing and growing. Between 2006 and 2008, we actually saw a 40% growth in our distribution in the United States. We ended up reaching 44 states throughout the country. With that growth became a lot of popularity. And we used that popularity to not only grow ourselves, but also grow how we approach ourselves as a brand. We started doing concert series, which we still do to this day. We actually just brought these back starting this year for the first time since COVID. Kate will be playing June 21st. We actually just announced, I'm gonna butcher it's like Rainbow Kitten something. We just announced it this morning. Like we got an email this morning and they're like, we're putting it out on Facebook, social media. And I was like, all right, let's do it. But concert series are back. BCTC Festival, which is Belgian comes to Cooperstown. An all-beer Belgian festival. We'll have vendors from around the country coming in. That'll be in late September. So all the super fun things that come with Belgian beers. Gained our popularity. We kind of went away from it for a little bit. Now we're bringing everything back. Also, since COVID and stuff like that, we are now a New York, 100% New York grown brewery. All of our hops, all of our grains, all of our spices, all of our that is now New York sourced. So we're getting back into that. We're actually getting back into growing our own hops as well. So we're trying to make it as local as possible. We even have our own water treatment facility on site. So anything that is dumped down the drain, all that stuff, we purify it, we do it. It goes back into the system, not only in our brewery, but also into Cooperstown. And also at the same time, we have a couple of solar panels at the brewery that we are using to put energy back into the grid. So we're trying to make it as sustainable as possible, as local as possible, and as healthy as possible, but at the same time making quality beer, having some fun with it, and then growing the brand. Which is why we're all here today, to try out some of these new fun things that we've done, and also at the same time, hopefully, learn a little bit, grow a little bit, have some fun, and, let's have some beers.
So I noticed you're doing some new things, some different type of stuff. I don't know, not very recently, but recently, like green patch that we're gonna try.
Yeah, so some of the newer stuff that we have going on today, the first one that we'll be trying out will be Farm Fresh Ale. It is actually the first open air fermented beer that we've done at the brewery in 7 years. So it's an open air session ale, almost brut, like champagne-esque. You're going to find a kind of crisp, light, easy drinking. The mouthfeel is going to be very brut champagne-esque.
What type of yeast do you use?
So we have a house yeast that we actually partnered with our friends at Brasier de Choux to cultivate back in the 90s.
Neat. Now, because I've heard of open air fermentation before, and the only people I ever saw, now I didn't get really, I don't remember if I got a chance to see what it looked like, but the only people I knew who were doing that were Two Roads, and they had like specifically built this like solarium to do it, like this sunroom to do it. Now, when you have for the open air fermentation, does it get sunlight or is it in the dark?
So the question for the open air fermentation was whether or not the beer itself gets sunlight. The answer to that is no. So there's a separate room that we built off to the side that we have this giant open air square tank that we ferment in, and no one goes in and out until it's ready. And by that time, the yeast actually crops towards the top, and once it's ready, we have this kind of like vacuum wand thing that basically just top crop over on top of it. But no, it never sees the light of day. It basically goes from in this dark room into the kegs or cans themselves. And then they either, so also with the Farm Fresh Ale, it is honey conditioned. So within the kegs and the cans, it's actually fermented for 7 days extra with the honey. So the honey's not introduced until the extra fermentation. So you get a little hint of sweetness on the back end, but it's not honey sweet by any means. You just get like a little taste on the back end.
Okay. No, because that's really interesting. So I'm under the impression once it starts, it's like you can't go in there because you can't introduce new cultures and stuff like that. Very cool.
Does anyone else have any questions about Farm Fresh Ale? No, we'll enjoy.
What are the?
Yeah, so this is a new year-round offering. We just introduced it back in February. It'll be available 365 days a year. We actually brewed it as an alternative to Idle Days, which was our Pilsner. This is a little bit more Belgian forward, and also at the same time light, crisp, easy drinking. And you don't have to ferment it for as long. So it's just a good alternative to.
What's the name of this one again?
Farm Fresh Ale.
Farm Fresh Ale?
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's really good. It's very crisp.
Yeah, no, that's what I keep in my fridge right now. I'm not joking. 16-ounce cans. So anything that's in can format for Ommegang now is 16 ounces. We still do a couple of bottles, but that's more of our core brand ones, like Free Philosophers, Abbey, Hennepin.
Is Idle Days done forever?
Oh, I love them. It's about my pay grade. I didn't want it to go away. I had a bunch of places that were going like 5 cases of them out of it, and they're like, we're good. Well, this is what came out of the replacement. I don't know how often they like.
Rare boss.
Does anyone have any questions about farm fresh ale for right now?
What type of honey?
So it is a wildflower honey.
Ooh. Cool.
Yeah, so it's locally sourced out of the Russell Valley, I think is where it's at.
Fascinating.
But it's a locally upstate New York sourced honey.
That's cool. No, I was, he's not here tonight. I didn't see. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, the honey man's right there.
Yeah, the bee guy. The bee guy. No, he does locally. He does the bees in here, and he has honey that's here. He's really cool. If you ever want some New York City honey.
And that'll be Hennepin? Alright, so what they are passing around right now is Hennepin. It's one of our flagship beers. It is a farm fresh saison. You're going to have a little bit of floral notes, crispiness, a little bit of that Belgian spice that you're traditionally used to. But it's just, honestly, I love saison. It's one of my favorite beers that we produce. But it's still got a light crispness to it. It's still a little higher on the ABV, but not quite, 10.7 high. 7.7. That is my go-to summer drink right now. Now, does anyone have any questions about Hennepin? I know I didn't give a very brief description, but it is such a traditional one that we do that attendants sometimes gloss over it. There is not honey in that one.
What does Hennepin stand for?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm asking a tough question.
No. Honestly, that's the first tough one I've gotten. I think it's honestly.
I've heard it before, a Hennepin, and I've had different types of Hennepin ales.
So a lot of our core ones are Belgian or Flemish terms.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on a limb and say it's one of those.
How does this differ from the first one?
So that one differs from the first one because the first one is open air fermented. This one is actually just traditionally kettle sour in a way. But that is a traditional, not necessarily French saison, but a Belgian saison. Whereas Farm Fresh Ale is just an open air fermented Belgian ale. So the yeasts are very similar, but at the same time how they're fermented and also at the same time how they're conditioned. All of our beers, whether they are packaged in bottles, cans, or kegs, have some form of second fermentation between 7 to 10 days depending on the beer. They're cold fermented for a long period of time. First one was honey conditioned. This one is just standard cold fresh conditioned. So there's there is some similarities, not just with the ABV, but in terms of how they're produced, how they're cropped, how they're fermented. But they do have a very similar yeast in them, so you're going to get a lot of flavor profiles that kind of go side by side. This one's not going to have as much sweetness. It's going to have a little bit more sharpness, a little bit more floral notes, and a little bit more of that Belgian spice. Does anyone else have another question?
What type of yeast?
Any kind of variance of any of the beers? Like, do a variation of
We have done a variation of hennepin only once or twice, but when we have done it, it's been strictly for the tap room. We did a red wine barrel-aged version of hennepin about 2 years ago. It was only in there for about 3 months just to get a little bit of the red wine notes, but not actually like up the ABV on it. And then there was another time where we basically did an imperial version of it, where it kind of just jumped up to about 9.5% versus 7.5%.
Wow.
But both variations were only in the tap room. We never actually put them in the commercial market. Yeah. So if you guys ever want to try all the fun, super cool stuff, go check out Cooperstown. Or go check out Cake, Concert Series, BCTC.
How far is Cooperstown?
Oh, from here?
Far.
No, it's not that. Like distance-wise, it's not that far. I just traffic sucks. From here, it's probably about 3.5 hours. Yeah.
You guys are very here, and you are you get to go through some really,
Colorful neighborhoods.
remote roads.
Well, I mean, you can kind of cross over the Bronx for a little bit, but outside of that, like, you can kind of cut up and over. That's usually what I do, is I cut through, like, Ridgewood, go up north, through the Throgs, into Bronx, and then cut over into Connecticut.
So like you are like coming down like on 28 or something like that. I don't know, it's like the 2-lane highway going down the 6.
Oh, once you leave the city, it's basically a 2 or 1 lane, and it's, yeah, no, it's, you know, if it wasn't for those and the hills, it would take you like 2 hours. It would be, yeah. No, it's the hills, the sharp turns, it's country roads. That's all it is, yeah.
It was really interesting because when the last time I remember going up to Cooperstown, we were at my grandmother's house, and then she's got a house in Elizaville, New York, right in Dutchess County, and then we went to Cooperstown. So we were already kind of halfway there. But coming from like New York City to go up there, all of a sudden it was like, get off the highway, and then you're just going on these old routes and stuff like that. And the one town we went through had a covered bridge, and we wanted to go over it, but there was a sign saying, there was a sign for the covered bridge saying, there was this town that had like this historic covered bridge, and there was a sign saying, cars over this size can't go over it. And my mom's like, oh, I don't think we can go over with the car. And I was like, oh well.
Yeah, there's a couple of areas like that. I mean, it's like a very old neighborhood
where we had lunch that day, we could see this huge mountain face, like this huge side of the mountain. All these cows, like it's some dude's ranch. All these cows on the side of the mountain.
There's a lot of dairy farms in that area, like on either side. But also at the same time, like Cooperstown has one street light and one like actual like overhead light. Like so, it's if you're there at night and you're driving, good luck. Oh yeah, the one street.
It's biblically dark.
Which is why a lot of people went out there for the eclipse, because there's no light pollution.
I went up to Newcomb, New York to see the eclipse at this place called Upper Works Trailhead. I was so in the middle of nowhere, I had no cell service for the entire time I was there.
It was probably great.
It was amazing, it was beautiful. And when it finally happened, it was like this all-encompassing, oniric, dreamlike experience. And then once it was over, my boyfriend and I got in the car and we started driving home. It took 4 hours.
Alright everybody, so in front of you is Neon Green. This is a collaboration beer that Ommegang did with Other Half. The game just launched last week. So it is a Belgian yeast-inspired double dry hopped hazy IPA.
Whoa.
So the 3 hops on it. So the first 2 in the kettle when we're actually brewing it is Citra and Nelson Sauvin. We actually dry hop it with Manteca.
Wow.
So those are just the 3 hops we use on it, unfiltered. But with the Belgian yeast, it just has a different flavor to it. It's got a little crispness to it. It was a fun process dealing with those Other Half guys because they're a little crazy. But It is one of 4 collaborations we have going on throughout this year. This will be the only IPA, but this will be on our running, rotating series. Neon gleam, neon lights, neon rainbows. Basically, anything neon is one of our rotating IPAs moving forward. This one was just a fun collaboration that we had some extra time for, and then decided to, have some fun with some of the local guys. So this is a New York State only beer. New Jersey doesn't get it, Connecticut doesn't get it, screw those guys. No offense if anyone's from there.
Oh, I know the Neon series.
It's part of the OMG series, but the Neon specific ones are all IPAs.
It was originally OMG.
No, they're the ones in the
Right.
neon cans.
Yeah.
And Neon Rainbows was kind of like the predominant one.
Yeah, so we have like neon tides, neon lights, so all of the rotating ones go through the neon.
Why neons?
Just something to be a little different, kind of stand out. Trust me, if I had choice of whether or not to name it Neon Gleam or something else, Gleam would not have been what I chose. Especially with the packaging. The packaging is gorgeous. It's got a lot of 8-bit arcade games attached to it. So the fact that they went with Gleam versus something else they could have done with the theme that they chose. But it's a fantastic beer. We actually just launched it with Other Half on Friday at their Center Street location. But 7%, easy drinking, great for the summertime. Like I said, it's very, very hyper local. You're probably not going to see it in a lot of places at all. So enjoy it while you can. Get it from Mike here at the Hop Shop while you can, because when it's gone, it's gone. But it is a fantastic beer, and so Other Half's collaboration variation of it is called Neon Broccoli. So if you want to go by their location and get the same beer that they're not putting out in the market, it's called Neon Broccoli. Because they have a weird broccoli fetish for some reason. Yeah, Other Half has this broccoli theme for like a bunch of different beers. So theirs is neon broccoli, so their variation of this beer is that. But they're not putting theirs in the market. So you can go and get this beer at Other Half, but not under our umbrella. But it's, hazy IPA that's fantastic for the time of year that we're in. Easy drinking, crisp, and just a fun time that very few people in the tri-state area is going to get to experience, and you're one of them.
Yeah, Mike.
Last Friday, I worked like 5 minutes from Other Half. So I decided finally I'm going to go over and grab something up from Other Half. I run into your rep and Julie, who's the distributor, and his lovely dog. And so we were chatting up. We were chatting up and everything like that.
Oh, was it like a brown lab that would put his paws on the... He's a regular. No, they have dog treats for just him. He knows when his owner's getting served, he's getting served in a different way.
That's like the Anatolian Shepherd dog. Big one.
It's a guy that's a regular in the area, and he just takes his dog for a walk and always stops and has a beer on their walk every day.
I know. But Julie meets my son from there. He said, oh, they're regulars over at Hop Shoppe. Yada yada. And I said, I can't wait for you guys to come. And I was trying to come but no, I was like, oh, we were very, let's just say, sad. But we still came.
We did check out the Cooperstown Brewing Company.
Yeah, they're just up the road from us, like half a mile.
They're right next to the scenic railroad line.
Yeah.
That's where we went there, and
no, they're literally like a half mile away from us.
Very good.
I haven't been by because when we were there in December, they were in their off-peak hours. So. It's dangerous. No, I talk about this all the time where it's dangerous as hell. What's gonna happen? I'm waiting for everyone to get their beers.
I have no idea.
No, so Shoof is not. Shoof is out. But this yeast is from Dr. Shoof.
Oh, that's good.
I love this beer. It's so good. I had one of those before while I was doing some emails because I got here at 6. Because I didn't do town line as well. So
I'm curious, how often do you have to drink it?
I've only been out there once.
Yeah, that's reasonable. It is far.
Yeah, I mean, we do it when it's like a group thing. Like, so we did like our Eastern sales meeting up there in December. We're doing like a big thing up there for the concert at the end of June. And then ACTC, like that's really it for the year. So basically 3 times a year. We do 3 times there. We do twice in Kansas City for Boulevard.
Like even if you are on the opposite side of the country, that's still reasonable.
Yeah. Well, no, we have our guys come in from Florida, and basically they like catch a ride with our upstate guys in Albany. All right, everybody. In front of you is Ommegang. So this is a Belgian-inspired blonde ale. The reason it is Ommegang is because it is a collaboration beer with Brasserie de Choux, which is one of our other, basically, brewery sisters. Their entire theme for Choux is gnomes. So based off of that, so there's Marcel, all these things, you know, there's all the gnomes have their own different names. And they decided to use that Belgian homegrown yeast, ship it over to us, and then we decided to do our own little gnome parties with it. On the cans, if they're in front of you guys, that is Coop, short for Cooperstown. But basically that is our little gnome mascot for this beer. And to go along with that, it is dangerous. It's 9.5%. It doesn't drink like 9.5%.
Really?
But part of that is because of the yeast that we use. So the yeast that we actually get from Brasserie de Choux, their traditional La Choux is 8.6%. And it's light, crisp, easy drinking, very much so how this one is. This one has a little bit more floral notes to it, a little bit more of like a breadiness to it, but it's still light, easy drinking. It's a fun, different collaboration that we have done. It's unlike anything else you'll see in the market because it is an American pale or American pale blonde ale, but with a Belgian grown yeast. If we were to enter it into a competition, there's no category that it would fit in. So it's one of my favorite beers that we're doing right now. It's one of our fastest growing brands, not just because of the cans and itself. It's the liquid. It's a fantastic beer. But like I said, be careful with it because it is stronger than it seems.
When it comes to strong beers, I say strong beers go 2 ways. One, you taste the alcohol all the time. And 2, it's really sweet and mellow, and it goes down really smooth, and then you wake up the next day, and it's a pig wearing your pants. Because it's just like, and I had some coworkers who was like, oh yeah, we were at Hop Shoppe, and we were drinking this really sweet beer, and we didn't know it had such a high alcohol content. I'm like, no!
Yeah, so with this beer, it is, like I said, it is a little sneaky because it is not as sweet. With those higher ABV beers, they tend to be a little bit on the sweeter side.
Yeah.
This one isn't as bad, and it's also not as potent in the alcohol content as well.
Yeah, like,
So it is,
I
that's
would
why I said
say-
it's a little dangerous, but it's not on that
like
category.
I should rephrase it. Like when it comes to like stronger beers, some of them you can tell they're stronger. Other times, they like if they're either sweet or they're more mellow, they don't taste very strong, and they'll sneak up on you. And those are the ones, like you said, those are the ones to watch out on because they'll sneak up on you, and all of a sudden you'll have like you're like, oh, you knock them back, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoop. All of a sudden you're having trouble.
Is this one,
That's a misprint. It's brewed in Cooperstown, New York. We had our cans printed to be shipped to Kansas City, which is at Boulevard, which is one of our sister brands. That is a misprint on the can. So it's made in Cooperstown. It's just they got the cans misprinted. You know, technically the only Ommegang beer that is made at Boulevard in Kansas City is our Nitro 3 Philosophers, just because of the nitrogenation of the cans. Everything else, Ommegang is brewed in Cooperstown.
discuss just a little bit about how the relationship between Google and Boulevard.
Yeah, so technically I work for Duvel USA. Duvel Morgat is one of the premier Belgian breweries out there. Back in 2004, Duvel bought out Ommegang, and then 2006 they bought out Boulevard. 2008 they bought out Brasier Chouf in Belgium. So basically they're kind of just buying these breweries out and then also at the same time using their money to make them better, giving them equipment that makes things better, giving them resources to get the right people involved to make their products, sing better. We have two different head brewers in Ommegang. We have Joe Green, which is our experimental guy. He's the one that came up with the Farm Fresh Ale. He's the one that came up with Manhattan Shine. And then we also have Jeremy Lai. He has been our head brewer day in, day out, core brand stuff for 17 years. Having this, kind of Belgian connection, but also at the same time the money behind the beers that they produce and stuff like that, has just allowed Ommegang to produce a better product, not only just on the liquid level, but on the marketing level. It's just been an all-around better experience, having a little bit more support than just a local grown place. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Is there anything coming out soon? I know Neon Stream just came out. Looking forward to that. Something else coming out in summer?
So there's nothing out for the direct summer. End of July, early August. We have a collaboration with Deconic out in Belgium. We're doing an Imperial Amber Ale with them here in the States, over in the West. But basically it'll be an 8% Belgian Amber Ale that's separate to Rare Box that we normally do, but it'll be a collaboration with Deconic.
So,
Ommegang is year-round?
Ommegang is year-round, yes. Yeah, so the only non-year-round in this tasting is Neon. Everything else is available year-round. So the Dream Patch, the Hennepin, Farm Fresh, Manhattan Shine.
So where does Ommegang find their inspiration for new roads or paths that they want to go down?
So that goes with Joe Green, our experimental head brewer. He finds some experiments with other people. That's why we're doing a lot of these collaborations. Some of them are things that he just, hey, I have this idea, or hey, I remember this thing from 20 years ago, and he kind of just, we give him full reign to kind of do whatever he wants, and whatever he produces and it does well, we will start to incrementally make larger batches. Usually all of it stems at the actual tap room, but if it gets to a certain point where it's just flying off the shelves, they'll make bigger batches, and then we start out in the New York market, and if it does well in the New York market, we go national. And so Farm Fresh right now is New York only, but it's been doing so well that they're ramping up production to do nation.
It's very interesting, because I really do want to go to the Ommegang Center in Cooperstown. I really want to go there. It's just finding the time, but
summertime is a little difficult because of the baseball tournaments they do out there.
yeah. Because when you go, we were there Memorial Day weekend, and we found out there's baseball camp. There's
basically the entire summer up until the Little League World Series, it's just baseball.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
And the scenic railroad goes through the baseball camp. And it, when you look at it from Google Maps, baseball field. They're all back to back. It's when you look at it from the Google Maps, it's a city of baseball diamonds. And I'm
the Baseball Hall of Fame is.
Yeah. I haven't been there in decades.
Well, that's why when we do a lot of things during the summer, we offer camping passes. So you can camp on site.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of our concentrates, BCTC, included in
Are
your
you
ticket.
dog friendly? Perfect.
No, there's a whole different camping site on facility. Anything that happens during the summer that's ticketed, and even into like early fall, like September, is included in their ticket price as camping passes. All right. In front of everybody right now is a Green Patch. That is our partner collaboration with Leafman's out in Belgium. So it's an open air fermented fruited sour. It's almost, it's more of a creme noir than it is a sour itself. The three flavors you're going to get on that is going to be cherry, raspberry, and blueberry.
It is really sweet and tart.
Yeah, so it has a little tartness on the back end. It's definitely got some sweetness on it. That's why I don't really like referring it as a sour ale. It's more of a creme noir fruited.
Yeah.
But 4.5%. That with like a little shot of like a lemon vodka on top is really good. But another partnership that we did with one of our other Belgian partners, Leafman's did a fantastic job of perfecting this open air fermented sour. But it's a very good balance between the sweet, the tart, easy drinking, but at the same time it's not mouth puckering, it's not too sweet, and it's natural fruit juices, which is how we're able to get the fermentation. So it's not too thick and syrupy like some of those fruited sours tend to be.
I've had some like one of those like smoothie beers, and it's like, wow, it's thick. It's good, but it's like you really are like drinking like a beer smoothie.
Yeah, no, this is a very good picnic going to the beach beer because it's now only in some cans, but at the same time, not too sweet, not too tart. But like I said, a lot of bars that I've been working with are doing like a little shot of lemon vodka on top just to kind of crisp it out, and it's been super popular. Does anyone have any questions about Dream Patch? I know it's kind of a weird style collaboration.
What was the inspiration?
So we don't do purees for it. We actually do naturally juiced. So we have like an actual juicer that we use at Leafman's. So they're natural juices, and it's also European fruit variations of it. So it's not the American ones that are kind of like basically like fertilized and all that crazy stuff. So it's actually a pretty clean product. But yeah, we don't do any purees on anything that we do for Ommegang. Yeah, the only purees that we really do for any of our breweries is through Boulevard, and that's for like very like super strong beers.
The proofreader has a question.
And that's saying what?
Is it the same
He's
problem?
not-
Well, you got great house.
So the Ithaca area is where we actually have our distribution. So basically, we actually bought out of, at the time, was a local distributor's warehouse, and that's actually where we do the package fermentation for all of our beers. So basically, we brew it in the brewery at Cooperstown, we ship it over to the distribution center, and that's where it sits for 7 to 10 days. And then from there, everyone comes, like all of our distributors throughout the country come and pick it up.
I actually know the city well.
Yeah, the Kansas City thing, I think it might just be, again, the misprint with the labeling. But the Ithaca thing is for our distribution.
I've been to Ithaca, right?
So he actually is playing baseball on there somewhere. So we have all these different variations. We do March Madness posters, we do Little League World Series posters, we do football posters. He's playing so many sports on that can, it's insane. I think one of them's like badminton.
You don't like it? It's too tart.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's named Coop after Cooperstown, so. Yeah, we actually have so many baseball themed things at the brewery that it's insane. It's borderline annoying sometimes. Yeah. There are some really cool merch based on it. I'm a big baseball tee guy, but at the same time, I don't need everything to be a baseball team. All right, so we're gonna switch over to Manhattan Shine. So this one is a super fun one that I'm excited about. So this is a new year-round barrel-aged offering. It is an Imperial Amber Ale. So basically our traditional rare boss, we actually doubled the malt on it and imperialized it. and then we barrel aged it in bourbon barrels with cherries and orange zest for 9 months. It's basically created to mimic a cross between a Manhattan cocktail and an old-fashioned cocktail.
What,
Now, are there like-
what makes it a cross between a Manhattan and old fashioned, says the bartender? I'm just curious.
The cherry and the orange. And then also with the bourbon, it kind of just like a mix between the two.
Is there like a bitter that you would say would like?
So there's orange zest and orange bitters.
The aroma is
It's very cocktail-esque.
the aroma. I wish I could make that a cologne. It's beautiful.
It has actual orange bitters in it?
Yeah, so it has actual orange bitters, orange zest, and maraschino cherries. And then basically the imperial amber is then barrel aged. We have a blend of a couple different barrels that we use, but it's in the barrels for 9 months. And
What's the
it's
ABV on this?
12.
Knew it.
It's a fun different variation because a lot of barrel aged beers tend to be porter stouts, very heavy. We started with a kind of lighter base on this one, but we also had a mentality behind it that we were going to do something that's a little different, but also very tasty. So I think the amber ale was a very good base for it. The flavors that they used with the barrels and the adjuncts with the bitters.
It's very well balanced. I really like it. It's got a very nice palette of flavors. And again, this is definitely a beer where it's like, this is so good, and then you're like, oh dear.
Oh no, so we first launched that in December. We actually brought in about 85 cases and 14 kegs just to try it out. They all sold out within a week. This is a beer that even this time of year we've had a hard time keeping in stock because it is just a really good beer.
You know, I would say it's also, this is definitely a beer I'd give people for Christmas.
Yes, yeah. So it's available in 4-pack bottles, but at the same time we will be doing 750 milliliter bottles of it for the Christmas time. But like I said, it's just a barrel-aged beer that's different than the other barrel-aged beers. It's nothing crazy. It's still, even though it is 12% lighter on the body, it's a little bit easier drinking. You're getting a lot more of the fruit forward that you don't normally get with other barrel-aged beers. And just top to bottom, just a really solid year-round offering.
You need to drive.
That's my job.
That's a fuck around and find out.
That's actually good. I'll get these questions on cherry. But does anyone have any other questions about Manhattan Shine while it's in front of them?
This is the one that's the barreling, right?
Yes, so yeah, that is a bourbon barrel aged imperial amber with orange zest, orange bitters, and maraschino cherries.
Très magnifique. It is so good.
Oh no, they've done a fantastic job. Yeah, Joe's doing a great job with our experimental program. So much so that, like I said, 3 of the 6 beers tonight have come from Joe within the last 6 months. So he's doing a phenomenal job of doing experimental stuff, selling it very well, perfecting it very well, and some of them are now year-round offerings. They're, from top to bottom, we're doing really good fun stuff. If you want
Pour it
to.
out. So a little bonus.
You want to know, like, if you want some glassware for that, I have some. Well, I'm saying, like, in general, if we're going to keep it in the bar, I think 6 glasses and cups. And apparently there's a surprise guest. So they will be now pouring some Duvel, which is our parent company. So Duvel Morgat. I'll give you the long history on this one. So the original brewery was actually called the Morgat Family Brewing Company. This beer that you're about to try, Duvel, was actually brewed as a victory beer after World War II. The reason it's got its name is because at the time, they were pouring it in pint glasses. It's a very strong beer, it's about 9%. One gentleman who had a few of them went to stand up, said out loud, wow, that's one devil of a beer. Duvel is actually Flemish for devil, which is hence the devil of a beer. It eventually became the #1 selling beer at the Morgat Brewing family, and now it's Duvel Morgat is the name of the brewery. Michel Morgat is a 4th generation owner and proprietor of the company. His daughter Sarah is primed to take over for him, hopefully when he decides to retire soon. hopefully he's still young.
It was crazy.
But this is one of the best-selling beers in Europe. It's one of the beers that got me into craft beer. It's a phenomenal beer.
I love Duvel.
Hundreds of years of history behind this one, and honestly, there's not much else I can say.
You know, it's funny, like, when they were, the first beer club after COVID was Duvel. And the representative from Duvel showed up, and he showed us how to do the proper pour of a Duvel beer. I still have the beer stein from it. After we did it, he had a couple steins left. He had brought some beer steins for us to use, and he let my mom have it. We have the beer stein, and yeah, I have footage of her doing the proper pour.
Yeah, so basically, fun fact on top of that, going off of what was just said, we have a very specialty glassware that's made for this beer. It is actually a bottle fermented beer, 100%. So the carbonation levels are much higher. That's why, I don't know if anyone has any of the bottles in front of them, but it's a very thick glass. If we did anything else like that, it would explode. But also on top of that, when you pour the glass perfectly, you're basically going to have 50% beer, 50% head, a specialty glass designed to release the carbonation.
Very annoying as a bartender when you're drinking on a Friday night.
It is annoying, but also at the same time, the people behind it tend not to realize, like, why is there so much head in here? But there's a reason behind it. It's actually it's actually a great reason, and a lot of people don't realize this. When most people are like, oh, I don't drink beer, I get really full. It's not actually the beer itself, it's the carbonation. And the reason we have the glass is to release that carbonation, how like some wines you have to breathe them. When you actually allow that carbonation to get out and all that stuff, it's not the beer itself that's making you full, it's actually the gas filling up your stomach. So if you don't let you get a beer, you get it poured at a random whatever bar, and there's this much head on it, and you start to feel full after, that's why. So we actually, with the packaged fermented product, want it to be completely opened out. And I don't know if anyone's any Austin Powers fans out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the second one, where he's drinking the Starbucks, and he's got it all over his face.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, in Belgium, it's called a Belgian dip. It's actually derived from Duvel. When you went to pour it, drink it, because it has so much foam, it ends up on your face. So the Belgian dip is actually based on the Duvel pour.
I literally I do the Duvel pour, like, and like I said, like for some reason, like pulled up right here on Friday now. It was like here on Friday, and like someone were doing it, I was just like, you know, like trying to pour it properly, but didn't have time to.
Well, fun fact right now, if you want, there are gift packs you can buy at the store, or if you work in bars, we are doing currently a perfect pour challenge through Duvel. Where basically the winner will get a trip to Vegas, and if they win in Vegas, they get a trip to Belgium. So basically, at the average, like more of the bigger beer stores, there's a 4-pack with a glass. You can go online, submit your perfect pour. Win a trip to Vegas. If you do end up winning the trip to Vegas and do well at the Vegas trip, you actually could potentially win a trip to Belgium and go to the beer itself. So I mean, you know, $20 investment can end up being a $4,000 worth of trips. But if you guys want to learn how to do the perfect pour, I'll be around for a little bit. Does anyone else have any questions about Duvel specific beers?
So what inspired what we're currently drinking? Because you said it was right after World War II.
So it was a victory beer for World War II. Basically, they wanted to make a completely different beer to celebrate the fact that war is over. And they also wanted to make something that was strong enough, because for the longest time during World War II, everyone knows about, you know, Radlers, like Radlers and stuff like that, where they were rationing beers, and everyone was kind of drinking these low ABV beers for the longest time. So they wanted to double down and be like, if we're going to celebrate, let's celebrate and like go even stronger. So that's where it came from. They just, you know, at the time didn't have the technology to gauge how strong it actually became, and that's how we got the phrase of deadlift beer. Like, what do you think?
What about Blue Carpet?
So if anyone wants to hang out for a little bit, I'm going to stick around and watch the Ranger game. I brought my jersey. So you're more welcome to come hang out, have a couple more beers. Again, any Ommegang beer gets a raffle ticket. Let's just say after the Ranger game, I'll do the raffle, and we got a couple of shirts, a couple of bottle openers, we have a scarf, we also have a Ommegang hockey jersey. So if you guys want to hang out, you're more than welcome to. Grab some food, grab some drinks. Go Rangers.
Live from Ommegang!
Thank you, Tyler. All the way from Cooperstown, New York. He rode his bike down there. What's it? Yeah, hitchhiking. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you to Tyler for coming and being informative and bringing great beers. Thank you all for coming to Beer Club. We do this every last.
Thanks for doing it.
Right on. We have this beer club the last Thursday of the month, and next month will be Bronx Brewery. We were supposed to have them previously, but they had to cancel, so we got postponed. So next month we will have Bronx Brewery, and they're doing a bunch of good stuff. And we'll see what happens this summer. Go out to your local places and ask for Ommegang. Well, then this brewery is killing it with the Belgian beers, and we need to drink it, and they need to carry it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.
It's up to you.